kept pushing on, but then you went too far. When your ship has sailed and all your dreams are lost, everything is wrong, you feel like it's your fault. Just remember, I will be there for you, baby. Remember, there's nothing out there to get you, don't forget it. When life feels lost, just call on me. Just call on me. Just call on me. You're stronger now than you ever been. You gotta leave now, it's time to catch the wind.
Finesse meets Tex-Mex as the F1 iRacing Thunder takes their driver etiquette to the designed accordingly turns of the Americas. What the hell is that? That's not an F1. That's a whale riding rollerblades. That's a lorry in a garage. That's a bloody dog riding a water slide. That's a big sitting sideways on a you plonker! The ATX Grand Prix, where the trucks get Texas tough. I'm not saying that. I'm not gonna bloody say it. I'm not telling you again. I'm not saying it.
Bury me, carry me, far beneath,
For the second time this season, we head to the trucks, but for the first time this season, we head to a road course. Round number 5 of the ThunderClap Stock Car iRacing Series heads to the Circuit of the Americas here tonight on ESBN. Good evening, everybody. My name is Frank Marchese. Thank you very much for making us a part of your evening here tonight. Alongside me is my broadcast partner, Tony Trapasso. Tony, I think the intro video said it right. This is not a Formula One. These trucks here tonight, they're going to be big, they're going to be bulky, and they're going to be slow.
Greatest phrase I've ever heard uttered in an entrance video. These are bloody whales on rollerblades. I couldn't have said it better myself. I mean, that's basically what these things are. These things are top heavy. They don't like to turn on ovals. Now these guys are having to turn right and left. This is gonna. You got to be elbows up, wheels, and on that wheel, and this is where we're gonna see who the cream of the crop is tonight.
Yeah, absolutely, and it's going to be a fun night here. It's going to be a rather quick night, only 23 laps, but when those laps are averaging about 2 minutes and 23 seconds a lap, it can take a while around here. But we'll take a look really quick at the point standings before we go any further. The overall point standings to begin, and after the win last week, his second in a row, Ryan Truex takes that points lead by 12 over Jake Waltman. Roger DeBold, kind of the leader of that second group, but right now it's Truex and Waltman that are in a class of their own at the moment. And on track tonight, there are two guys that are in a very clear class of their own. It's Truex and Thomas Aaron.
Yeah, absolutely. The only two guys to go sub 220s here. And it was kind of funny. You and I were having a good laugh over it. When Aaron posted his sub 220, Ryan had already done it. Ryan looks at the time and says, "Hold my beer," goes out and blisters a 2:18:07. Good grief. Leave some on the table for the rest of the children, will you guys?
And there is going to be a performance gap here tonight. These trucks are clearly not meant to run around this racetrack, and there are guys that do not run road courses, let alone stock cars on road courses. So there is going to be that performance gap that we're going to be watching. It's going to create for some great racing all throughout the field, though.
Yeah, it is. Because there's pockets of, 3, 4, 5 guys that are within a couple hundredths of each other. So we're going to see some side by side. We're going to see some beating on the fenders, but we're going to see a lot of disparity in the times between the guys that have their poop in a group as far as road racing goes and the guys that are relative rookies to road racing.
Absolutely. And you're seeing the individual series championship up on your screen right now, but we will take you now to the racetrack as we've had quite an interesting go of it here in this practice session. We've only got about 45 seconds left to go, and as you can see, Ryan Truex sitting at the top, a 2:18:06. Thomas Aaron, a cool 1.2 seconds off of that time. And a further darn near 2 seconds back is the third place guy, Mark McCreary.
Yeah, and Mark's right now kind of the best of the rest. And he's only about a tenth clear as far as that time goes. And then things get really tight behind him. You know, Ryan Zink and Roger DeBold, there's less than half a second separating those guys. Less than half a second from DeBold to Leahy. Cole Gadjadoris is less than 100, only 1/100th behind Leahy. Sharik's right there. Waltman's right there. You know, so we're gonna see some battling here tonight. You know, it's basically it's going to be the Alamo version 2.
Yeah, absolutely, and especially with guys that may have issues on track, some faster guys trying to work their way back up through the field. That will also create a lot of interesting battles as well. As out on track first is going to be the number 56 of Ryan Truex. He's won the last 2 races and finished second in the truck race that he started back at Phoenix in round 2. He's going to pull it off and stop, which means that will leave, I believe, Matt
The 66
Garrett.
of Walton.
Yep, Matt Garrett, I think, is actually at the lead of this train here. So Matt Garrett will be the first one to set a time. Hypothetically.
Well, you're not wrong. Looks like Garrett and Steven Sharik are going to be the first 2 to have a crack at it. You know, but we've got some new faces to mention here tonight, Frank, too.
Yeah, we do.
New faces to this series, familiar faces to ESBN broadcasts, though.
Two series debutantes here tonight. The number 61 of Matthew Johnson and the number 12 of Greg McConey will be making his series debut here tonight. We'll be seeing Greg tomorrow night on track in the iRacing East Circle B Diecast Super Speedway Series.
And I am so looking forward to that broadcast.
Yep, it's going to be a fun one for sure.
You sure you can't call in sick?
I am 100% positive.
Call your boss, say, hey, I used up all my sick days. Can I call in dead?
Exactly. We see Nikolai Jardone on track right now. These guys still have not yet started their money lap, or at least the first of the Flyers.
Luckily, they gave them 10 minutes to get through qualifying because some of these guys are going to need it. Holy cow.
Absolutely is. Matt
Frank,
Garrett,
can we talk about the elephant in the room?
what would that be?
Being as we are in South Texas, that weather has got me a little terrified right now.
Yeah, we will get to that as we usually do on the grid, but we have our first driver setting a lap. Matt Garrett has officially crossed the start-finish line. Steven Sharik out there as well. Getting set to begin. See 7 minutes left here in this qualifying session. Should be more than good enough for these guys to get their 2 laps in. As
Oh, Walton is here. Okay. I wasn't sure if the 06 made it tonight, but yeah, no, I see Waltman actually here now.
I believe we have 28 here tonight, which I think is probably a record for this network at COTA.
Let me double check that math. 30.
Yeah, that's still a record.
That is a record.
I think that's more than a record, to be honest. Is
True story.
Matt Garrett starts heading down the hill at the top of the racetrack. We'll keep the track map on here for a moment so you guys can kind of gauge the layout and see where these guys are. Is Matt Garrett starting to head down the longest straightaway on the circuit? Now in Formula One, this is a DRS zone, quite an interesting, into a very interesting braking zone. Downhill, hairpin, very, very tight corner, and you really pick up a lot of speed in these trucks. And it's almost the truck saying, what the heck are you doing? Just as you get me up to speed, now you got to woe me back down to a darn near crawl all the way through this, the back half of the second sector and into the third sector.
You're going to see the centers. You're going to see the centers of the front wheels of these trucks just glowing. I mean, to the point where it looks like it's going to catch the front wheel on fire, glowing.
Absolutely. Now, only 2 guys have elected to not take qualifying, so everybody is out on track right now except for the 21 of David Hall and the 904 of Michael Grant. Ryan Truex, as you would imagine, has just gotten into the third sector. And after setting a lap time that was a 2 1/4 quicker than anyone else, I'm sure he'll be looking to sit on pole here as we got time starting to trickle in. James Sharik has gone on pole at a 2:21.61 for the moment. And we'll see how this works out as Truex now heads through that triple apex. Thomas Aaron, a 1:19.84.
Good grief.
And I'm sure this lap
Second
here by
and
Ryan.
a half.
Yeah, and I'm sure this lap here by Ryan Truex is going to be no small feat either, as here he comes across the line. The line's going to be further down. Oh, there it goes, 1:18.77. So not that far off of what he ran in practice, and he is. He says that
second
lap
to the clear.
Yep, and he says that lap will suffice.
Of course it will. Why wouldn't it?
Matt Cherry on track right now. There you see him. Bobby Grant coming across the line. Now the start-finish line for qualifying is there. I thought the race line was there, but I guess it's not. As Bobby Grant went off track, so his first lap will not count. Vince Burns crossing the line now. He did not put in a first sector time, so his lap will not count.
Let's see what Roger DeBold's going to be able to crank off in the 38 here.
I'm trying to look through. Roger DeBold on track. Here he comes. This is out of the final corner. Turn 20, and DeBold will cross the line, setting a time of 1:21.0. So Roger DeBold goes up to third. Series debutant Greg McConey heading through the triple apex. Self-proclaimed not a road course ringer is McConey.
Yeah, he almost chickened out of this race tonight.
As diving into turn 20. See what he can do on this lap. Matthew Johnson, the other series debutant, behind him, as McConey will go 14th. Anthony Burleson completes his time. Cole Gadjadoris was one of those guys that was very good in the practice session. His second lap was null and void as well. Here comes Robert Walton. Walton gets his second lap to be voided out as well. Scott Formosa about to cross the line. Still have 2 minutes to go here. 20 cars have set qualifying times.
Keith Cook and bottle washer for the ThunderClap Racing Series. Justin Clapper goes 16th quick.
That was on his second lap. As Scott Formosa can't get either lap to go for him. Bobby Grant completing his second. See where this lands, the number 14. Big lockup going into 20. Keeps it on circuit, though, so the lap will count. And Bobby Grant will slot himself into 17th, so not a bad effort.
Only other truck out on track right now is going to be the 8 of Robert Barber.
Tommy Allen Jr. on track as well. Greg McConey on a second lap. Anthony Burleson on a second lap. Here comes Matt Cherry crossing the line to complete his second lap. will better his time, but not his position. Will the 54. Here comes Greg McConey out of Sector 3. Anthony Burleson will be next across the line. Then it'll be Tommy Allen Jr. and Robert Barber. Barber, I don't think, is going to complete a lap.
It's going to be close.
I think only Burleson's going to get the lap in. As here comes McConey out of 20. McConey will cross the line. He will advance up to 7th. What a lap by Greg McConey. Here comes Anthony Burleson. Got to get out of 20 quick here, and he is going to be cut just short of the line. So Burleson will not have that second lap count. So as we hit the warm-up session here tonight, we will take a moment here as Terry Adams will bring you tonight's national anthem. Thank you very much to Terry Adams, as always, for the national anthem here. As we are in the middle of the drivers' meeting / warm-up session for this race. And Tony, a lot to discuss about these trucks going around this racetrack. As I mentioned in the open, this is a racetrack that was absolutely not built for these cars. These were built for Formula One cars. They were also built for MotoGP bikes. This is the last place that these things should be going around. But it should create some very good racing if they can get these cars to work as long as they need them to for 36 laps.
Well, and that you just hit the nail on the head there. They've got to last the 36 laps. It's very easy to get it very wrong here very quickly, and you'll eat an Armco. The silver barriers there that kind of are outside the grass. And if you get into that grass, forget it. You might just as well be on ice because, even with the warm track temperatures that we've got and the, heat in the tires, once you hit that grass, you're done for. Because there's absolutely no traction out there. You're just going to slide. And if you get into one of those Armcos, you're going to need to burn your fast repair. And that's going to be the tough part, is the fact that they do have a fast repair. You'd never want to use it, or never want to have to be in a situation where you have to use it, especially at a place such as this. It's 3.43 miles, and 16 turns to get around this piece. If you biff it early in the lap, you're screwed. You're going a lap down or more by the time you can limp it back to the pits.
It absolutely is a mammoth of a racetrack. And what we were seeing through there as we were following guys like Matt Cherry and Vince Burns and Bobby Grant go through the very winding and, in a F1 car, very flowing first sector. One thing that these guys are going to have to watch out for are those big yellow curbs that are at the back of the actual curb. You jump on one of those, you're going to launch yourself, and it's not going to be a smooth, composed landing. You're going to throw yourself off, way off, ready for the next turn.
And the only thing you can hope at that point is there's nobody on the outside of you, because you've just not only ruined your race, you've ruined at least one other truck's race. And if you hit those big yellow curbs, with the front of these trucks set up the way that they are, you're likely to tear the splitter clean off.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a very, very interesting way that this racetrack is laid out for these trucks. As the grid starts to form, we'll take a look at the starting lineup. Ryan Truex takes the pole here tonight with a 2:18.774. He is flanked by Thomas Aaron on the front row. Jake Waltman and James Sharik will make up row number 2, with Roger DeBolt and Matthew Johnson in row number 3. Greg McConey and Mark McCrary sit in row 4, with Dominique Cahart and Steven Sharik in row number 5. Ryan Zunk and Matt Garrett will make up row number 6, with J.D. Woodward and Chase Leahy in row number 7. Row 8 will go to Matt Cherry and Anthony Burleson.
Justin Clapper and Bobby Grant rolling off in row number 9. Row 10 sees Caleb Roche and Nikolai Jardin. Tommy Allen Jr. and Bo Condon going to roll off in row number 11. Condon was the last truck to actually post a time in qualifying. Scott Formosa and Derek Hall going to roll off in row number 12. Row 13 sees Robert Walton and Vince Burns, Dustin Stallings, Robert Barber, and Michael Grant going to be starting shotgun on the field, with Cole Gadjadoris in 30th. So 30 trucks scheduled to roll off here tonight. 1 fast repair, 4 sets of tires total to get them through the race. And that track temperature has me terrified, Frank.
Yep, absolutely. Looking at the track temperatures, these guys only doing half a pace lap here tonight. It is just past 20 after 1 in the afternoon sim time, 83-degree ambient temperature, and I know what you're seeing, 134-degree track temperature. It is hot, which means it's going to be slick around here tonight.
It absolutely is, and that you have to be up on the steering wheel every lap here to post a good run to begin with. You're going to even have to be more careful now that the track temperature is in the triple digits and it is as high as it is. I think that's the hottest on-track temperature we've ever seen, Frank.
Yeah, I can't imagine. I can't think of a starting track temperature that's been that hot. Cole Gadjadoris is elected to pit start. Michael Grant has not gridded up. Tony, take us away.
Well, as the pace truck peels on off to go down pit road, field coming through the final corner, Truex has the button. The only thing that's left to say is, it's time to wipe the visor, adjust the 5-point harness. Grandma, pop some popcorn and grab a tortilla. It's time to get it on in South Texas. Race fans, it's showtime!
Perfectly done. Perfect timing, Tony. As up the hill for turn number 1 they come. That 47 of J.D. Woodward was looking down towards the inside. Not quite there yet. Looks like everybody's going to get through clean, at least for the moment. There's 3 wide. There's a lot of close racing, but it looks as though everyone's clean except for the 3 of Matt Garrett. He's gone around.
Ouch. Yeah, he got the Spanish Archer early here. But up at the front of this piece, they're getting pretty single filed out. And if you take a look, Thomas Aaron's not letting Ryan Truex get too far away from him. They've also got Jake Waltman and James Sharik right there with them. And I'm impressed that that start was as clean as it was, Frank.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, contact.
Yep, that was Thomas Aaron trying not to run over the back of Ryan Truex. Instead, he had Jake Waltman run over the back of him. I think J.D. Woodward's gone off at the top of the hill. He's looking straight, though. Doesn't look like he's lost too many spots. He's in 14th at the moment. The side-by-side battle here comes Matthew Johnson looking for the 4th spot away from Roger DeBold in the 38. Greg McConey's going to follow him through.
Absolutely. As McConey he'll be the first to tell you, he's not a road course ringer, but he is a tenacious driver. So expect to see some side-by-side hard-nosed battling out of the 12 tonight.
Seeing some damage on the 37, on the front nose of the 38 as well. Damage on the rear of the 37. So guys have gotten into each other. David Hall has gone off at some point in that number 21. Not quite as far off as Bo Condon in the 25. And around goes the 3 of Matt Garrett again.
Formosa involved in that one too.
Yep. It's the 11 of Nikolai Jardone there. As we complete the first lap here tonight, Thomas Aaron not quite as close to Ryan Truex as he wants to be. Certainly, I bet, closer than he thought he was going to be. But he has Jake Waltman all over him going up the hill to turn 1.
Oh, big jump.
Might have been Caleb Roach. We saw. Oh,
yes, it was.
He was off a moment ago. We'll take a look. Once things get settled out a little bit more, we'll go back and take a look at some of these incidents that have happened here. It's 25 of Bo Condon off again on the outside of turn 1. This is back in 7th. That's Greg McConey in the 12. James Sharik in the 37. 6th and 7th between these two. McConey off at the top of the hill. That's very easy to do here, but has that momentum.
Biggest mover of the race so far is going to be the 8 of Robert Barber, up 13, currently sitting in the number 15 slot.
There's that all-out towing Chevy Silverado. Only posted the 1 qualifying time. Currently sitting in the 15th position. Now Cole Gadgedoris is on track. He's going to be a lap down here at the start of this. Robert Walton is in pit road. Try to go back and take a look and see what happened to Robert Walton. Here's his incident. This is on lap 1 going up the hill at the start. Walton just gets pinched out. Ooh, a big contact on the side and then a big nose-to-nose hit there with the 11. Try to watch it again here, and this is what it's like to start this race in the pack. On board with Walton. Just watch the 8. Watch out for the 8 coming up on the left side here, or thought he was, and that a wreck that just seemed to happen in slow motion. And Walton, after that, decided to tow to pit road. So that's where he is. Michael Grant has not started the race. James Sharik now in pit road.
And that's not uncommon. As bad as the front end of that truck was wadded, he's got a burner's fast repair here to make sure that radiator doesn't have a hole in it. So, kind of a wise idea there.
Steven Sharik defending well from Chase Leahy in the 34. Leahy with J.D. Woodward closely in tow behind him.
got a good battle in the mid-pack right now with Dominic Cahart, Mark McCrary, Matt Sherry, and Steven Sharik.
Just jumped on with that. Riding off the back of Dominic Cahart's number 58. Just a little bit further up in this group, you can see J.D. Woodward looking to the inside of the 34. And at least from what I can tell at the moment, it looks like J.D. got that position. He did.
Yes, he did.
Matthew
And don't look now, but here comes the Ada Barber with a good head of steam.
And you're going to see guys like this. Once you get out into clean air, clean territory, as long as you keep the truck on the racetrack, you'll be a lot quicker than a bunch of guys that are running in a group. And speaking of running in a group, Mark McCrary trying to get around Dominic Cahart. This is a very slow, winding place and a good place to try to do it. Cahart well out of the way. Matt Cherry's going to try to follow him through now. Steven Sharik is going to look to follow suit, but he now has J.D. Woodward breathing down his neck.
Yes, he does. A lot of good side-by-side racing. This is what we're talking about. There's going to be pockets all throughout this race of guys running side-by-side, guys, trying to make moves on each other. As here comes the 83 of Steven Sharik. As he and Cahart were going at, or J.D. Woodward were going after it. Now he's got his sights set on Cahart.
Yep. Sharik successfully defends that position for the moment from J.D. Woodward. Going up the hill, though, could be quite a different story, as here comes J.D. looking to the inside. Going into turn number 1 at the top of the hill, he'll get the position and just does keep himself out of the left rear corner of Dominic Cahart's number 58.
And we're no stranger to the way J.D. Woodward drives. We've seen him a ton on the Monday series. We used to broadcast the Rowdy Energy Cup series and the Circle B Diecast Super Speedway series. So we know J.D. knows how to run hard and clean, but road racing is something that we haven't really seen out of him.
I can't remember too many road races that he's been a part of, and you can see just how nice and clean and composed he's been going up this hill as Cahart jumps one of those curves that we were talking about earlier on. Now side by side going into the hairpin at the top of the circuit. Robert Barber also looking to gain a spot or two. Big time, had to check up there. He'll get around not just the 34 of Chase Leahy, but he's gotten side by side with Steven Sharik as well.
Yeah, absolutely. As Barber continues that drive after having a very poor qualifying attempt, only getting one lap in, as you mentioned. Everybody else picking up on their second lap. Oy.
The side-to-side contact there as he just drove it in a little bit too hard, trying to get the position away from Steven Sharik. Did that successfully, but overshot. And right into the side of Dominic Cahart's number 58.
You can see a lot of right side damage on Barber's car and a lot of damage on Cahart's truck on the left side. Shouldn't affect them both too much, but definitely they're going to want to be mindful of that fast repair when they do come in for tires.
A little bit further back, here's Cole Gadgedoris getting around Caleb Roach. Now again, Cole Gadgedoris on a comeback trail. He has a big slide there coming out of turn 18. Cole Gadgedoris on the comeback trail after deciding to pit start after neither one of his qualifying times were allowed. Big wide moment there for Justin Clapper. He will now lose his spot in the top 15 to Dustin Stallings in the 5. And right now, Scott Formosa comes out of the pits. Here is the race leader, Ryan Truex, only a second and a half ahead of Thomas Aaron. And we have neglected to point out here tonight, thus far at least, stage breaks are going to be rather quick as far as lap count goes. Stage 1 will end on lap 10. Stage 2 will end on lap 20. That'll leave about, I want to say, 13, 14 laps to race to the finish.
And, that should be your tire stops too.
Yeah.
Being as they've got the one set on the trucks currently that they started with, they're laying 3 sets in the pits. So you figure you pit at both stage breaks. You do have that one set if you want to try to blister one at the tail end of this race.
Absolutely. As there's Matthew Johnson.
Oh boy.
He has gotten around Jake Waltman. So we'll take a look at their lap time sector by sector and how they compare. Waltman had a poor sector 1, and that's where the 61 was able to get around him.
Something happened with Woodward and Sharik.
We'll take a look at that here in just a moment.
Oi.
So we'll see. JD running in 10th. There he is. Steven Sharik, a couple of positions behind him. And this is what would have happened between the two of them.
No, it's two separate incidences, but take a look at what happened to Sharik. That was a Code Brown moment for sure for Sharik.
Here's what's
and everybody around him.
Got pushed wide by Cherry, and then just behind him, whoa, big slide. Back end really came out on that 83.
And everybody else doing a great job to avoid running him flat over.
Absolutely. Not missing anything up front. Ryan Truex with about a 2-second lead over Thomas Aaron. Aaron, a clear 10 seconds away from this fight between Matthew Johnson, Jake Waltman, and Roger DeBold. Started 5th and is running 5th. I think the 54. No, Cherry's still going.
Just ran wide in the hairpin.
Yes. It's another thing about SDK. It is very nice that they highlight the incidents for us so we don't have to really search too far back. But when every little off is highlighted in red, it does get quite confusing sometimes. As here comes Waltman, about to be passed up by Roger DeBold. This is heading down the back straightaway at the end of Sector 2 into Sector 3. Sector changes over right about at that gantry there. And DeBold will successfully take the position.
Showing exactly why he was in contention for last year's points championship.
Absolutely.
And who's that behind Waltman? Is that who I think it is?
Yes, that is. That is the 12 of Greg McConey, bringing Ryan.
How about that?
Bringing Ryan Zunk in the 23 with him.
Zunk up 4 spots from where he started, so really good run out of the 23 right now.
Absolutely. As here comes Greg McConey. That's Robert Walton in the 66. Several laps down he is. And he'll get out of the way of both the 12 and the 6. The 06, rather.
Hey.
So right on board with Greg McConey.
Matt Garrett just had a throughput. So the 3 is actually out as of right now.
Seen the 3 out. The 904 never started the race. So only 29 cars at the start. Walton and Formosa, the only 2 drivers that are not on the lead lap at the moment, is big hit on both of those curves, on that curve from both the 06 and the 12. So we're riding on board with McConey when he hit that thing. And that just goes to show you how violent one of those smacks on the curb can be.
Very much so. You know, if these trucks were any more top heavy, being fearful of actually putting one on its lid.
Absolutely.
And the only way I could describe what hitting one of those curbs is like is when I used to drive carpet oval RC cars when I was a kid, you'd hit we used to call them hyperdots, that they'd line the inside of the track with to say, hey, this is where the turn is. Go. Yeah, this is as low as you can go on the track. You'd hit one, and next thing you know, somebody on the outside of the track is catching your car as it's 3 feet off the ground at 35 miles an hour.
Speaking of catching your car,
wow!
McConey is harassing that 06 of Jake Waltman about as much as you can, and Waltman really having to push here to try to keep those guys behind him, and that bent up front end from running into the back of the 93, I'm sure, is not helping him whatsoever.
Absolutely not, as he's got a damaged front, he's got a damaged rear. Now we're not in Tokyo. Stop that.
Yeah, that was a big power slide from the 06. And now McConey's going to try to take advantage. Here he comes down the front straightaway, puts a big move down to the inside. Waltman trying to push him as far as he can get him to go. Now comes up to take the corner. Great defensive driving by the man who currently sits second place in points, and Ryan Zunk almost had an opportunity there.
Yeah, Zunk was looking, but he thought better of it. He sees how hard Waltman and McConey are going at each other. All he's got to do is just bide his time, because something's got to give between those two in front of him.
Stage will end at the end of 2 laps. So at the end of lap 10, this stage will end. As we take a look a little bit further back, this is just outside the top 10. Chase Leahy, Steven Sharik, Robert Barber, J.D. Woodward, and Matt Cherry just ahead of these three. A lot of nice little battles here. And in packs as well. It's not just single battles. Now, there are a couple of single battles, but we've got a couple of packs here providing some great racing here in this first stage. Ooh, Matt Cherry had a big slide.
Yeah, Cherry was almost in trouble there. And McConey has finally gotten by Waltman. And here comes Waltman back on the inside.
McConey having to run a little bit wide, and now that'll open the door for Ryan Zunk as well. Waltman has the preferred line, and Zunk is going to run out wide to avoid hitting that 06, and again a big slide.
Waltman is not having a good time here tonight, and McConey's around.
Yep, that would have been McConey by himself. Sure, that was less than ideal. We'll take a look and see what happened with McConey here.
And Truex just came into pit.
So, yep, just by himself. Too much rear brake for that number 12. He's going to back it up to get out of that corner before he straightens it out. Ryan Truex in. Matthew Johnson in as well.
And we're 2 laps before the stage break, so they've timed those pit stops almost to perfection, because now when everybody else comes into pit, they're going to be relegated back to the front of the field.
Now, we were told that last segment, these guys should be good to go on fuel. However, it will be incredibly close.
Right.
I'm not sure if Ryan Truex has made it a little bit closer than it needed to be. Matthew Johnson, surprised how much Matthew Johnson's falling down this order, but he was quite a ways behind. Johnson down and away. So that will mean now that the top 3 is Thomas Aaron, Roger DeBold, and Ryan Zunk. Your top 3. Ryan Truex now about to retake position away from Jake Waltman. And as far as the championship is concerned, that is a position that he desperately does not want to lose. But he's not going to have a choice. Truex still has a full lap here. He might be able to sneak another position or two. As it looks like Thomas Aaron, though, unless he decides to pit, Thomas Aaron will be the winner of this stage. Greg McConey jumps back up to 6th, getting around Jake Waltman. Still see how much Waltman is floating that car. JD Woodward now just outside of the stage points positions.
He and Robert Barber just beating on each other for the last lap or so.
Take a look here. We're seeing contact between all three of the guys in that group. There's Barber, and he's going to close up, I'm sure, pretty quickly here to JD.
Oy.
Yeah.
Oh, hang on to her.
It's contact going there.
Yeah, but I'm watching what's going on with Waltman and company there. Oh, good grief.
There's the 06 of Waltman. Slow down that front straightaway.
He was 8 different kinds of sideways coming out of the last corner.
I believe it. We'll probably see it again here. Yep, here he goes, drifting it again through turn 1. And if Waltman's not careful,
chrome horn.
Boy, he cannot get on the throttle. He has melted the rear tires on this car. He is full on
He's
drifting
got a tire
this
blown.
lap.
He's got a tire blown, and I don't think he realizes it.
I don't know. Oh, big hit with the curb.
Wow.
And he's going to nail it again. Boy, I'm not sure if it's... Oh, and he's just gone up and over it again. I think it's just that he's lit the rears up so much. Oh, my. No, he's got a big problem. Does Waltman in that 06. He has a massive problem.
Yeah, he does.
Way
and you
off.
can see it right there. That left rear tire is flat.
He can't even drive in a straight line at this stage.
That left rear tire it's down on the rim.
Well, we're not seeing it at least modeled that way, but right now we'll go back up to the front as here comes Thomas Aaron, who by virtue of Ryan Truex pitting, Thomas Aaron has won stage number 1 here for the ATX Grand Prix at Circuit of the Americas. And stage 1 has officially come to a close. Roger DeBolt will come home 2nd. Ryan Zunk will find 3rd. As the field now just coming back to the line, and we'll see the situation with Waltman here as it is critical, I would say.
Very.
Just can't quite get that truck to drive in a straight line. I think Scott Formosa is not for position behind him. However, here comes the 09 of Caleb Roach. That is for position. It doesn't mean anything. We're outside the top 10 now.
Well, we're also under caution.
Yes. There goes Waltman well wide again. But there is your your stage 1 winner, Thomas Aaron, for the first time this year. Claims a stage victory here at Circuit of the Americas. We will be right back with stage number 2 from the ATX Grand Prix at Circuit of the Americas with the ThunderClap Stock Car iRacing Series in just a moment.
Hey, are you tired of your dog dragging in mud into your house? You got water laying in your yard? There's going to be a lot more water laying this spring. Now's the time to give us a call here at the office at 410-721-2342, and we'll be glad to take care of all your outdoor drainage needs.
Oh, you are not, you're not alone, no. Oh, you are not, you're not alone. You are not, you're not alone.
Thanks again, guys, for coming out for demo day here at Chaladon and just going over hip start and how it's going to improve your swing. Hip start is really a key factor in getting that proper downswing. The beauty of hip start is you can change your swing in less than an hour. Just put hip start on and you're going to notice a difference right away.
So before I was introduced to the hip start, my shots were kind of all over the place. Using the hip start, I definitely noticed more consistency and getting that great tactile feedback, knowing when the proper moment to snap your hits has really helped with getting my shot a lot more consistent. And I just feel more confident whenever I go out to the golf course with my friends.
Before you even grab a club out of your bag, we're using hip start to warm up. Put it on and get that feel and just fire the hips. Make sure that hip's turning and make sure hips firing through with hip start.
I'm able to hit the ball a lot straighter and a lot farther, and more importantly, consistently hit the ball. What I've seen today, I personally live by and swear by the hip start.
Drivers that took time, all of them within 3.5 of each other tonight is going to be a very closely competitive race.
As the field worked its way out of the 3-4 complex, the only thing that's left to say is wipe the visor, adjust the 5-point safety harness, because race fans, it's
showtime!
Amazing looking cars already. Green flag will fly.
Oh, they're wrecking! Well, one thing that you're going to see at this track that we haven't seen the last few weeks is a surface that's multi-group. I think this is the first multi-group surface we're going to have.
After an amazing race at Daytona, we now come to the left coast and Auto Club Speedway in Fontana, California for the second round of the Way She Goes Racing League Cup Series.
We are back under the stage caution here at the Circuit of the Americas for round number 5 of the ThunderClap Stock Car iRacing Series Championship. Round 2 in the trucks, round 5 overall. And I believe Tony is with the man who just won stage number 1. That would be Thomas Aaron.
Thomas, Aaron, Tony Trapasso up in the broadcast booth. Do you have a copy on me, sir?
Yes, sir. Loud and clear.
You won stage 1, but that dreaded Toyota is back in front of you for the start of stage 2. Do you have anything for him tonight?
Yeah, Ryan kind of gifted us the stage. Kind of the same thing happened last season at the Roval. I can run up with them. If I pass them, it's going to have to be on new tires because I was right up behind him there after the start. But I was just taking it easy, trying to save my tires. But if I have anything for him, you're probably not going to see it until the last stage.
Sounds grand. Now, just how slick is that track feeling right now with 133-degree track temperature?
Oh, it's very slick. You can barely touch the throttle, especially in the stadium section. When you at the end of this back straightaway here, that whole section, you never full throttle. So yeah, it's a handful.
All right, sir. Congratulations on the stage victory. Best of luck to you in the rest of the race.
Appreciate it, guys.
And today I found out that I can just right-click and move people to different rooms.
There you go. Congratulations. We
Yay,
learn something new every day. So that was your stage 1 winner, Thomas Aaron, who said it pretty accurately that he was gifted that stage by Ryan Truex. Truex decided to come into pit, and Aaron deciding to stay out. It'll help Aaron here a little bit to have a couple of extra laps, fresher tires than Truex, especially on a racetrack like this, where the tire wear is a lot higher than, say, having 3 or 4 laps at a track like Daytona.
4 seconds of fall off on the tires is what these guys were experiencing at the end of that stage.
That's quite a bit. As we will do one more pace lap around here before we go back to green. And by the way, that pace lap, Tony, 3 minutes 47 seconds is what Truex did from start finish line to start finish line on that last pace lap.
So it's about 1.5 seconds slower than race pace.
Yep.
Or 1 second quicker if you're some of the back markers.
Well, or if you're you.
I said it. I stand by it.
Or if you're you.
Or, yeah, if you're me, it'd be 1.5 seconds quicker than race pace. But I do want to thank everybody for joining us in the live chat right now. Timmy Kelly saying, let's go 09. Robbie Chambliss letting us know that J.D. Woodward's only 17 years old.
That's
a lot of racecraft in that young man.
Yep, absolutely. Is Seeing guys towards the back starting to get their stuff figured out a little bit. And I've raced against JD in the Monday night series, and he's
hard-nosed?
No, one of us is wrong because my graphic is saying 23.
Yeah,
I would tend to believe that one.
Yeah, I'm kind of thinking Robbie might have him confused with a different driver from that Monday night series. But again, if you are watching in the live chat and you haven't done so already, give this video a thumbs up because it really helps share this with the rest of the YouTube community. Also, hit that subscribe button, turn on bell notifications because, Frank, we've got a loaded week this week for racing.
Yep, we absolutely do, and here is that loaded race week. We've got 4 races coming up in the next 2 days. The TNT Truck Series from Atlanta will run tomorrow night. That'll be a 7:50 p.m. Eastern Time start. And then on Friday, the treble running again. The Circle B Diecast Super Speedway Series will be at Daytona in the 1987 cars. The first time the series will be in the Legends cars, so it'll be a fun night tomorrow night for the Super Speedway Series.
A lot of things planned for that broadcast.
Yep, a lot of things that I planned, and unfortunately because of work, I will have absolutely zero part in.
Yes, you planned and I brought to fruition.
Yes, very good. Wicked Sim Racing, I believe, will be at Charlotte. Now, there was an incident last week where I think they had too few drivers that were participating because there wasn't... Oh, because it was Easter. No.
Yes.
Yeah, the Easter weekend last week.
Well, no, it was the... Well, Orthodox Easter.
Oh, there you go. So that would have been why they did not. So I don't believe they ran the Charlotte race last week, so they've pushed it to this week. Is when that Charlotte race will run. That'll be an 8:45 p.m. Eastern Time start, and then at 9:20, the KMM New Gen Cup Series will be at Talladega as their season starts to wind down. So 3 races coming up, 3 big races coming up, and then we have Tony. You can shed more light on this, but we have our special event race coming up this Saturday night.
Yes, we do. We have the SRM 200 from Atlanta. That is a pay race. You buy in, and all of the money brought in goes right back into the kitty for the drivers. I'm not sure of the payout format yet, but you will be getting money back if you do well in that race. And that usually brings out some of the cream of the crop in iRacing. When there's money on the line, the tension really ramps up.
Yep, and all drivers are eligible for that. So give us a shout out on our Facebook page, direct message our Facebook page, and see if we can get you
Sim Racing Media.
Yep, Sim Racing Media, and we'll try to get you sorted out for this race. So speaking of sorted out for this race, let's get back to talking about this race.
Absolutely.
We have effectively, because the caution was called a little bit late, we had an extra lap under caution, so we will have 5 laps worth of racing here in this stage before we get the stage 2 break at lap 20.
And from the sounds of it, when we were talking to Aaron there, it's a good possibility that you are going to see drivers come down for tires even after those 5 laps.
Yeah, I would believe it because you're not going to want to pit during the last stage as well, which might get knocked down to about 11 to 12 laps of green flag racing. So as we come out of the final corner yet again, getting set to get the ATX Grand Prix back underway, we head to the second start-finish line down midway part of the straightaway. Truex is off. Stage 2 is underway.
And it's kind of weird that there are 2 flag stands here. Well, one coming out of the final corner and one halfway up the straightaway. And basically, that's just to make sure that the back markers know when the flag comes out.
Well, no, that other one, as we take a look a little bit further back in the field,
MotoGP.
Yep, everyone else getting away clean And we had marveled at the fact that these guys had gotten through the first corner clean at the initial start. They just undid it again.
All except for, it looks like Bobby Grant.
Grant may have had an issue in that 14. But yes, that second flag stand is, well, one for qualifying here in this series.
Oi!
And I'm assuming Clapper and Leahy.
Oh, they were 3 wide coming out of the hairpin at the top of the hill.
There's Justin Clapper right there running in the 10th spot. Here comes Roger DeBold looking to pick up position. And DeBold with his damage repaired, not the fast repair taken, but his damage repaired will jump back up into the top 10. But those two flag stands, the near one is for qualifying, the far one is for the race.
There you go.
For all series that run here at COTA.
Number 2 for Today I Learned.
Yep, there you go.
And Clapper and DeBold have not given up on each other yet. They're just cats and dogs right now.
Yep, Clapper is certainly not gifting this position as we got a car around in the back.
I believe that's Cole Gadgedoris.
I think so. Oh, no, it's Dominic Cahart's around back there.
Oh, yes, it was. Well, Gadgedoris. Oh! Go look at the one with Gadgedoris, though.
We'll take a look here. Now, there were a couple of incidents with him. Here he comes. This is going to be with Matt Cherry and J.D. Woodward. It's Cole Gadgedoris in that 89. Cahart gets by him. May have gotten a bump there from the 54, and 54 just ramps up him.
Yeah.
To look on board and see what that was like from Matt Cherry's point of view. There's Cherry coming out of the hairpin there into what Thomas Aaron described as the stadium section. There's the contact. And he ended up getting hit by J.D. Woodward. He did not voluntarily jump up on that 89.
No, he didn't. He had help.
Certainly did. As Ryan Truex back out in front. Thomas Aaron about 1.5 seconds behind. Ryan Zunk about a further second back off of Aaron.
And that big battle for 9th and 10th still rages on between, for 10th and 11th between Clapper and DeBold. Neither one of them have given an inch so far.
Roger DeBold a 1/4 of a second quicker in the iRacing second sector. I believe as far as iRacing is concerned, this racetrack has 5 different sectors. As in Formula One in real life, that right there where Sector 3 just poked out, that would be the end of Sector 2 in real life. Take a look a little bit further behind these guys. Here comes the 06 of Jake Waltman. Jumps over that curb, and I'm sure with his new pair of shoes, I think he's a little bit happier now than he was a moment ago. Takes a big dive under Vince Burns. A lot of contact between the 06 and 55 there as the 06 tries to get himself back up into the points. The points for the stage, at least, is now Robert Barber trying to make a pass on Steven Sharik. That'll allow Dustin Stallings to go around him. Barber now looking to the inside of Stallings again. And Barber will retake that position. So a lot of passing, a lot of attempts. But we all come out the same way we entered, as now Stallings getting around Barber.
And looks like DeBold looking to the inside of Clapper going up the hill. Clapper slams the door, going into that tight hairpin. Blows the corner, but does maintain the spot.
Yep, absolutely is DeBold. Now, this is a big point for these two because the 38 is outside of the top 10, so he's out of the stage points. Justin Clapper is the last one in. Everyone you're seeing on the top half of that graphic is in the stage points. The bottom half are fighting for it.
Want to thank our good friends over at Speed King Motorsports for checking in tonight.
Absolutely.
Telling their drivers to get up on the wheel. And if you got a favorite driver that you want to shout out, give them a shout out, and we'll try to highlight them throughout the broadcast.
Absolutely.
And again, don't forget to like, favorite, subscribe, share, and turn on bell notifications so you don't miss a single moment of action here on the Esports Broadcasting Network. As this week we are doing this all 7 nights a week with a quadruple header coming up this Sunday.
Absolutely.
As the IF1 series is coming to my home track at Watkins Glen, and I'm excited for that one.
Yep, that'll certainly be a fun race. The ISNF series, not that far after that. Then it'll be the Sunday Night NASCAR.
The Fired Up Esports League.
Fuel will be there as well.
That
was the one I'm missing. As Ryan Truex has had a time of it here over the last moment or two. He just set the fastest lap of the race. However, Thomas Aaron has gone a little bit faster than he has. Aaron set a 1:21.06, but because he had an off, it does not count officially towards the fastest lap of the race. So Thomas Aaron has closed that gap up to about by about a second, I should say.
You can see him right there. He's pestering the daylights out of Truex right now.
Absolutely is.
And that would be a coup if Aaron could best one of NASCAR's finest. And if there's any team owners out there looking, Thomas Aaron's not someone you want to look over, as far as, or overlook, I should say. He's got the racecraft to bring a truck home in one piece. He's got the speed to keep up with an active NASCAR Truck Series driver. So, I mean, give the kid a shot.
Just looking through here in the standings, Thomas Aaron currently sitting 32nd in points, but that's because he's only run 2 races this season. He ran at Daytona, finished 9th at Daytona in the Cup car, and then in the Cup car last week, he was a recipient of, as you effectively call it, affectionately I should say, call it the Dairy Queen Award. Finished 22nd at Atlanta last week.
And at Atlanta, he was caught up in 3 other people's dumpster fires.
Yes. Having a very solid run here on the road course.
Absolutely.
Is that number 93. And the next time we will go to a road course will be on the 8th of June. That will be in the Cup car at the Charlotte Roval. Then it will be the Xfinity car at Road America on August 17th. And then that will be it as far as the road courses go, as here comes Ryan Truex, down pit road again.
Doing that pit strategy of pitting just before pit lane closes.
I'll be interested to see, because again, we were told earlier on that we should just be able to make it in this final stage on fuel.
Right,
so
but
I wonder if he's cutting himself a little bit short.
Well, what he's doing is he's coming in, getting those tires before the stage break, so that way he doesn't have to pit during the stage break, relegated to the front of the field on the restart.
I understand that point of it, but if he's going to do an extra 3 or 4 laps on that tank of fuel than everybody else is, it's going to be close. A little bit closer.
Yeah, no, it definitely is, but we're going to see as a couple more off tracks being notified in SDK.
Justin Clapper still has kept Roger DeBold behind him. Now with the pace of Clapper, however, that has promoted Matthew Johnson and Anthony Burleson into this battle, as DeBold has a very good run coming in, but not quite good enough. But he'll get the exit out of that hairpin. Clapper's going to have the outside, which means he got the momentum a little bit quicker, but DeBold will certainly have the position.
Yeah, absolutely. But Clapper not giving up. Still has the outside. DeBold on the inside. They bang fenders. Eesh. Clapper gets straighter quicker.
Yep, and he'll maintain the position. Anthony Burleson, though, right behind him, he'll get the position on Matthew Johnson. And by pitting under that, and by pitting when he did, that has demoted Ryan Truex from first all the way back to 18th. It's not going to matter with everybody coming into pit now, but he's taken himself out of points contention. Meanwhile, Jake Waltman has gotten himself back in the points. He's running in 9th.
Well, the good news is between Clapper and DeBold, it means they're both in points-paying positions right now.
No.
And they're still side by side.
Oh, big slide, a big dive there by Justin Clapper. That was to get himself back in.
Well, no, they're battling. Oh, no, they are. Yeah. No, you're right. You're right.
Waltman,
you're right.
Waltman
you're right.
was out, and then he passed those guys, and he's in.
You're right.
Oh, look at the big dive coming in from the 61 here. Not quite enough. He'll get the position on DeBold, which I'm sure will make him happy. DeBold's been working on Clapper this entire stage. And now in the last lap of it, he's going to get passed.
As Johnson just hounding Clapper right now all over his tailgate.
Yeah, and Johnson was right up there. I believe a second-place finish in that first stage. He was up in the top 3 the whole time, so we know he's got pace in that number 61.
Coming through the downhill, got a good head of steam. Could we see the kamikaze move? Yes, we are.
Big dive, a little bit too wide on exit. DeBold tried to counter it, but a big slip of the rear tires for Matthew Johnson will get Clapper around him, and now he's even with DeBold.
Drag race through the stadium section between DeBold and Johnson. Johnson does have the preferred line coming in here. DeBold was looking to make it 3 wide with Clapper. Nope, not going to happen.
DeBold will get the position back, at least for the moment. Anthony Burleson looking to regain that position. Maybe a little bit of contact there between the 67 and the 38. That will promote DeBold into the points.
And there it is.
Yep, and the stage caution has come out. Thomas Aaron has won stage number 2. So a dual threat stage winner for that number 39. And the caution was called earlier, so we did not lose that extra lap behind the pace truck. So now Thomas Aaron should be caught up with the pace truck. Yep, there he is. And unfortunate timing for Justin Clapper, because it came just after Roger DeBold had passed him to take
DeBold
the
only
final
had
stage
half a
point.
truck on him too. I mean, it was half a truck. Clapper was at DeBold's door when that caution came out. That's how tight that battle was. So, I mean, and this is what I love about this track is you get these pockets of racing. That was the best battle we have ever seen on a road course, and it was for 10th.
Yep, and this is We'll go back and take a look at it again. DeBold and Clapper. Clapper runs through, and the caution comes out right about there. It was not by a full truck length that DeBold had him, and Clapper, I'm sure, is going to be frustrated with himself because he did so well that entire stage to get a stage point and to keep DeBold behind him, but at the final breath, it did not go well for him.
And we're going to reach out to Bo Condon right now. All right, Bo, now while we're still under the caution, I want you to go back out on that track and hit the pace car.
So
I say it with love,
yes,
Bo. I say it with love.
There you go. So with that, stage 2 has come to a close. Thomas Aaron goes 2 for 2, has won both stages here tonight, his only 2 stage wins of the season. We'll take a quick break. We'll be right back. You're watching the ATX Grand Prix for the ThunderClap Stock Car iRacing Series right here on ESBN. Don't go anywhere.
Hey, are you tired of your dog dragging in mud into your house? You got water laying in your yard? There's going to be a lot more water laying this spring. Now's the time to give us a call here at the office at 410-721-2342, and we'll be glad to take care of all your outdoor drainage needs.
Oh, you are not, you're not alone, no. Oh, you are not, you're not alone. You are not, you're not alone.
Thanks again, guys, for coming out for demo day here at Chaladon and just going over hip start and how it's going to improve your swing. Hip start is really a key factor in getting that proper downswing. The beauty of hip start is you can change your swing in less than an hour. Just put hip start on and you're going to notice a difference right away.
So before I was introduced to the hip start, my shots were kind of all over the place. Using the hip start, I definitely noticed more consistency and getting that great tactile feedback, knowing when the proper moment to snap your hits has really helped with getting my shot a lot more consistent. And I just feel more confident whenever I go out to the golf course with my friends.
Before you even grab a club out of your bag, we're using hip start to warm up. Put it on and get that feel and just fire the hips. Make sure that hip's turning and make sure hips firing through with hip start.
I'm able to hit the ball a lot straighter and a lot farther, and more importantly, consistently hit the ball. What I've seen today, I personally live by and swear by the hip start.
Drivers that took time, all of them within 3.5 tenths of each other tonight is going to be a very closely competitive race.
As the field worked its way out of the 3-4 complex, the only thing that's left to say is wipe the visor, adjust the 5-point safety harness, because race fans, it's showtime!
Amazing looking cars already. Green flag will fly.
Oh, the wrecking! Well, one thing that you're going to see at this track that we haven't seen the last few weeks is a surface that's multi-group. I think this is the first multi-group surface we're going to have.
After an amazing race at Daytona, we now come to the left coast and Auto Club Speedway in Fontana, California for the second round of the Way She Goes Racing League Cup Series.
Back live at the Circuit of the Americas for round number 5 of the ThunderClap Stock Car iRacing Series, the ATX Grand Prix here from COTA. We will have 13 laps of green flag racing to go here to finish this race out, as Ryan Truex, who came into pit during the stage, yet again has foregone 2 stage wins to come in and pit on tire strategy, will lead, and James Sharik has come out in second place. He has a brand new machine. He will start on the outside of the front row.
Sharik did the exact same thing that Truex did, as they both pit during the last stage,
yep,
so that they could be up front for this restart. And from the looks of it, clean air is king here tonight.
Sharik came in on lap 17. Ryan Truex came in on lap 18. There you see on your screen when these guys have come down pit road, at least the top 5. So Truex did 10 laps on that run of fuel and tires, and we saw there at the end, I don't know whether he was conserving there at the end, but that 93 of Thomas Aaron really came on strong.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know, again, I've been nothing but impressed with the times that I've seen Aaron on track. Granted, last week was a bit of an anomaly, got caught up in other people's dumpster fires, absolutely nowhere to go. But, you know, this week showing that he knows how to really handle one of these things under pressure and under anger.
Looking back off of Ryan Truex's machine right now, another guy who's had a very solid night and has been very, very quiet about it has been this number 23 of Ryan Zunk. He has been up in this top 5 mix all night long. Just been running solid laps, solid times. Has been staying on the racing surface, and by God, if it hasn't kept him up here in the top 3 or 4 this entire race.
Well, that's half the battle on a road course, is just worry about keeping the truck on the blacktop, and you're gonna see dividends.
Couple of guys,
and that's what he's been doing.
Couple of guys worth noting here. Roger DeBold will restart in the 20th position here on this stage for damage repair. Greg McConey, all the way back in 23rd. He finished 4th in this last stage. I'm not quite sure what put him back there. Pit stop time looks clean, so I'm not sure if it was just him asking for an EOL just to kind of get out of everyone's way, but he's had a solid night as well. He'll be at the back of this field once we go to green. Tony, take us there.
And yeah, he was given an EOL. Marconi was. I'm not sure if it was asked for or whether it was something else that happened.
Have to have been asked for at that point.
Yeah, but the same thing with Johnson going to the Matt Johnson getting another EOL as well, starting in 24th. As the field works its way past the pit entrance, pace truck getting ready to peel on off. There it goes at the last possible second to miss.
As you do.
Hitting anything. Field working its way out of the final corner. There they go past the stripe for qualifying. As they start up the hill, Truex pulls the trigger, and we are back underway to start the final segment here at Circuit of the Americas.
Yep, here we go. Starting to fan out already here. Up at the top of this hill. Looks good. Oh, Clapper got a shove. But other than that, everyone stays clean. He looks like he got a little bit of a shove from the 47 of J.D. Woodward. But other than that, everyone gets through clean.
Absolutely. As McCrary was side by side with the 8 of Barber. Now, Barber's up 21 spots from where he started. That is yeoman's work.
Barber showed a lot of pace in the practice session, but again had his first lap at qualifying invalidated and then got cut off on his second lap by the time remaining in the session. So he has shown a lot more pace than where he qualified, and that's coming true right now as here comes Ryan Zunk on Chase Leahy looking for the 4th position again.
Well, those guys were 3 wide with McCrary, Barber, and Waltman. Barber wisely backing out of it. He was the meat in the sandwich going into the hairpin. No, wanted nothing of that. But you're absolutely right. Right in front of him, Leahy and Zunk side by side. Here comes Zunk on the inside.
Big contact, hard into the wall in the back. Justin Clapper. Oh, still flipping and spinning. I'm not sure if the 5 hooked him, but he was the first one to pop out behind Clapper. We'll take a look here at this replay as Clapper got clipped hard. It was by the 5.
And the 38 just caught a race truck to the face.
DeBold had nowhere to go.
Oy vey.
It looked like the 63 was trying to poke out.
He was looking to make it 3 wide. The only problem is the 5 didn't give room.
He was trying
and that's not on the 5. That's
no, that was the 63.
A racing incident.
Yeah, that was the 63 trying to make a move on the 09 of Caleb Roach.
Clapper's got to get to the pits because that truck is crabbing badly and smoking worse than a Grateful Dead concert.
There's the ride that he took. Get a look on board. This is on board of Roger DeBold. Oh, this is actually a little bit later. Pardon me. Here it comes. This is the ride on board of DeBold. There you see the incident happen and just has nowhere to go. As there is Justin Clapper coming out of pit road now after taking an obvious fast repair. And back right up around where he was. Here's Robert Barber trying to hold on against Cole Gidgedoris for 8th.
And if you'll go back and take a look at what happened with J.D. Woodward coming into the top of the hill, Cherry, Woodward, and Sharik were just all-out war coming up the hill.
Take a look at that now here as we'll jump back. This is earlier in this lap. There's JD trying to dive. That's Anthony Burleson in the 79. A little bit of contact there between those two, but other than that, Cherry comes out the better of it. He gets around all of them. Let's go back up to the front here as Ryan Truex and Thomas Aaron having a nice little battle for the lead. Steven Sharik not that far behind these two, only about a half a second. So this battle for the lead here, it's been a single duel between Ryan Truex and Thomas Aaron all night. It's now becoming a three-way duel as James Sharik has entered the chat.
Yes, he has. As Clapper at the top of the hill going into the hairpin, driving angry, completely blew the braking zone and almost ate the wall.
Sure.
He's driving angry now.
Yeah, he's running in the 24th position, which is the second to last car on the lead lap, and he has not had a lot of things go his way here recently. Again, just missing out on that final stage point at the very last second. And then an incident which, to be fair to Dustin Stallings, wasn't his fault. Clapper tried to dive to the inside of the 09 of Caleb Roach and didn't realize the 5 was still there. So got James Sharik up in third. Here's Steven Sharik. Battling for ninth. That's Cole Gadjadoris in front of him. Matt Cherry, J.D. Woodward there as well. Ryan Zunk side by side with the 37 of James Sharik going down into the hairpin. He will take the spot. Look who's back up here towards the top. That's the 06 of Jake Waltman.
Yeah, absolutely. He's got a little bit of. It's starting to look like a. Well, it was starting to look like a 5-truck breakaway, but jeepers! Aaron is all over the tailgate of Truex.
And a little bit of contact between Jake Waltman and Ryan Zunk as well, as these two, again, these were the only two guys to do a sub 2 minute 21 second lap in practice and in qualifying as well, for that matter. And these two, as far as race pace, have not been far off of each other. And Truex is backing Thomas Aaron up a little bit. The last lap time for these two, Truex was slower than Jake Waltman, who ran a 2:21.71.
And this last time by 2:22.19 for Truex, 2:22.17 for Aaron. So Aaron has the pace right now. We're 10 laps to go, so Aaron's got to be careful.
And on all of the 4 laps that we've completed here in this stage, Thomas Aaron has been quicker than Ryan Truex in all but one of those laps.
As you do. And again, I said it before and I'll say it again. If there's any real-world NASCAR teams that are looking for driver development talent, Thomas Aaron is who you really want to be looking at. Because, again, that kid has impressed me since the word go. He impressed me at Daytona until he got caught up in someone else's dumpster fire. And he impressed the hell out of me last week at Atlanta until the same thing happened.
He right now is all over the back of Ryan Truex. And to be perfectly honest, if Aaron was not in this race, this would have been a walk-through rehearsal for Ryan Truex here tonight. In practice, when you run a 1:18.4, and the next closest guy would have been, if it wasn't for Aaron, a 2:21.2, pardon me. That's a walkthrough at that point.
Yeah, I mean you almost 4 seconds to the good. I mean, that's just impressive.
Meanwhile, Thomas Aaron has made this a race, and he looks to be quicker in this third segment, in this third sector.
No, you had it right the first time.
Well, segment,
Segment.
sector, same thing. Ryan Zunk now starting to close in as well. He's inside of a second of these three.
That's because Truex is driving out of his mirror more than he is the windshield, trying to figure out what Aaron's going to do. Aaron's giving him all the pressure he can handle right now.
And it's also, it's got to be, it's also partially has to be the fact that he came in to pit before the sector came, sector came down.
It was like 3 laps earlier than Aaron pitted. So
Aaron quicker by half a tenth in that first sector.
We know that the guys who pit during the stage break should be able to make it on fuel.
Yes.
Truex has 2 more laps under anger than anyone else right now, other than 36 of James Sharik. So it's going to be tight on fuel coming to the checkers for Truex, and he might be trying to save a little bit of fuel here as well.
It's 2 laps in anger, plus he also had that pace lap as well to get around here, and this is not a short pace lap as we're seeing the sector times between these two guys on screen right now. Truex makes up pretty much what he lost in the first sector, but still with Aaron quicker in the second sector, it really doesn't matter. Aaron's still a little bit quicker.
But it goes back to what we talk about all the time. Catching somebody is one thing. Passing them cleanly is a completely different ballgame. And Aaron's not the type of guy to try to dump somebody or even, try a bump and run. That's just not his style. If he can't get you cleanly, he'd rather bring his truck and your truck home in one piece than make the guys back at the shop have to completely rebuild the truck after the race.
Ryan Truex going for his 3rd consecutive win this season. Did not make the opener at Daytona, finished 2nd at Phoenix in the trucks, won at Auto Club in the Xfinity cars, won last week at Atlanta, albeit a close one, in the Cup car, and now back here again, leading away in the truck.
And the reason why he missed Daytona, he was at Toyota Racing Development in their simulator prepping for the real world race. That's why he missed Daytona.
And that's fair enough.
And, when it's your job to wheel one of these things,
it makes
it
that a little bit different.
Yeah. But since he has come into this league, he's got a 2nd place and 2 wins.
He's not finished lower than 2nd. As speaking of guys that are coming into this series, Greg McConey has had a fantastic night in this number 12.
Currently running inside the top 10 as number 10 right now.
Yeah, but remember, he started this big slide out of Matt Cherry, and he's going to lose 2 spots to both McConey and Roger DeBold. But McConey started this final stage, back in 23rd.
Yes, he did.
Oh, around goes Steven Sharik. Sharik around backwards. I think off the nose of the 47. We'll take a look back at it and see.
No. It was off the tail of the 54. He tried to jam on the binders, and the 5 finished him off.
Yeah, there's the dive. Looks to try to make the dive. Does make contact with the 54, and you're right. The 47, completely innocent party there. So Steven Sharik has set himself back quite a bit, falling down to 18th at the moment. Dustin Stallings in that number 5. He's had an eventful evening thus far. About to get run over by Anthony Burleson in the 79. Cole Gadgedoris.
DeBold giving Marconi all he can handle right now for 9th.
Cole Gadgedoris trying to maintain that position. DeBold, you're right, all over Greg McConey for 9th.
McConey takes the defensive line going up the hill into turn 1. Wants to make sure that DeBold wants to go by him. He's got to do it the hard way.
For a series debutant tonight, he's taken points in both stages. Looking to finish off in the top 10. Back up towards the front. Thomas Aaron had fallen off by about 3/4 of a second. He has since regrouped.
McConey's around in the S's.
Yep, there he goes. I saw it pop up, but with how many incidents has popped up tonight, didn't really pay too much notice to it. Is now Cole Gadgedoris jumps a curb. See what happens here. This is coming down the hill into the S's. Yellow curb. Oh, nope, just a little bit too much slide on.
Josh McConey to 13th. He's going to have to claw his way back up.
Dustin Stallings right there in front of him. The other series debutant, Matthew Johnson, no longer participating in the race tonight. Did have a solid finish in the first stage. Second stage was a little bit left to be desired, but other than that, a solid race for Johnson.
Johnson becomes the 3rd retirement, as Scott Formosa and Matt Grant have also put it on the hauler. Michael Grant, however, is finally back out on track after missing the start, 25 laps down.
Yep, there is the 904. So whatever kept him from
starting,
starting,
he should be able to jump his brother.
No, he'll jump Matt Garrett for sure. Has a shot at jumping Scott Formosa. So the absolute highest that 904 can go tonight will be the 28th position. But whatever kept Michael Grant from starting this race and has forced him to miss both stages 1 and 2, no matter, he is here and running, as Robert Barber now coming under a lot of fire from Roger DeBold.
A little bit of separation at the front of this field as Aaron is backed off of Truex a little bit. Looks like he might be trying to just cool his tires down, hoping that Truex runs out of fuel.
Gap down to half a second. Or is ballooned back up to half a second. Truex clipping that curb just a little bit, gets out wide, so does Aaron, so it doesn't really hurt him. As Truex trying to maintain position here, and again, the question is going to be, is he going to have to pit in that number 56? Said it was going to be close.
Oh no.
On this final stage. Thomas Aaron all over him now. This is by far and away Aaron's best part of the racetrack here.
Marconi just got dumped going through the S's.
But he's having a lot of problems right now. We'll take a look back. McConey's running in 19th right now. That's him battling with Burleson. Oh, no, he didn't get dumped. He jumped that curb. And Burleson just with nowhere to go.
Did his best impression of a Dukes of Hazzard stunt double.
Yeah. Matt Cherry with Dustin Stallings. for close company. It's a battle for 11th.
Big wiggle for Truex coming into turn 1. That's going to let Aaron get right back on him.
This is down the hill through the first sector. The bobbing and weaving, a bunch of waves, weaving back and forth. Aaron a little bit flatter there through the first bit of turn 5. But still holding firm against that number 56 of Truex.
Absolutely. And when you come to a place like COTA, Frank, these are the tracks where you find out who the drivers are instead of just a steering wheel holder, like a place like Talladega or Daytona, where it's just hold your line and hope for the best. Here, you've got to be elbows up and just driving this thing. And I am nothing short of impressed from what we're seeing out of our top 5 right now.
Absolutely. Ryan Zunk also right up here as well. He's not that far off of these guys, putting up very competitive and capable lap times versus those two up in front of him. So is Jake Waltman. So is James Sharik. These guys have had one heck of a final stage here tonight. As we'll get.
I mean, if you take a look at the gap between Truex and Sharik, it's under 4 seconds. That's the closest we have seen the top 5 all night long.
Yep, it was about 4 to 5 seconds the gap between Truex and Aaron at the first stage before Truex came into pit.
Yeah.
Boy, Truex really pushing that truck, and so is Thomas Aaron as well. Coming to 4 laps to go here at COTA. Next week, we will get back to something a little bit more normal for these guys. We'll be in the Xfinity cars yet again for Dover. That will be next week, the 4th of May, and then right after that will be Bristol on the 11th of May. That will be in the Cup car.
As a matter of fact, Dover is going to be the reason why I'm probably going to be alone in the broadcast booth for the SRM 200.
Oh, there you go. A little bit of contact between the 56 of Truex and Aaron in the 93. So Aaron's wanting to get a move on. The next time these guys will be back in the trucks, it will be on the 18th of May at Talladega. So a lot of short track racing coming up after this. Then we go back to the Super Speedway at Talladega. It'll be the second to last Super Speedway race of the year. These guys will go to the iRacing Super Speedway, but that will have to wait until September.
Good, it gives me plenty of time to buy the track.
There you go.
Closest battle on track right now is the battle between J.D. Woodward and Dustin Stallings, as Stallings has given Woodward the chrome horn about 3 times in the last lap.
Woodward trying to hold on to that 10th position. It's not working necessarily well for him here, as now here he comes. These hairpins here get quite tricky because the inside line typically is where you would want to be, but you don't get the momentum and you don't get the run coming up off of them the way you do on the outside. And that's what's going to allow J.D. Woodward to keep the position. Now this top 5 has closed up quite significantly, as there is Jake Waltman. And it was right around this time we saw him power sliding like a madman in the first stage. He looks to be a little bit more composed now. But how long will that last, knowing that a win is in his sights?
Yeah, especially when we're 3 to go. Truex, Aaron, Zunk, Waltman, and Sharik, your top 5. And then you've got a 12-second gap back to Mark McCrary in the 88, holding down the number 6 spot.
On board of Waltman right now, as you can see just how abrupt some of these turns can be here in this S section. And no, it's not flat. There is a lot of undulation here in this part of the racing circuit.
And a lot of them are off camber corners, too.
Like especially this one. Off camber up the hill, another big power slide for him. And then this one being off camber, downhill, and virtually blind. Going into the hairpin. I believe that's the 904 of Michael Grant in front of this group. And whether or not Grant will actually play a part in how these guys race is going to be interesting. Aaron just can't quite get in deep enough to make a move on Ryan Truex. A little bit further back, Tommy Allen has found Steven Sharik not that far in front of him, the man who won the season opener at Daytona.
Ooh, chrome horn from Aaron on Truex.
We saw it earlier. It was at the other end of the racetrack. And now here, it's gonna have to happen. If Aaron wants to win this race,
he's gonna have to move
him.
Yeah.
Jake Waltman now having a battle with James Sharik.
Thomas Aaron, if you're listening, you need to channel your inner Dale Earnhardt Sr.
37 of Sharik takes the 4th position away from Jake Waltman. As Waltman he's getting that tail happy slide again, is that 06.
Yeah, he's starting to push a little harder than he had been previously. Because we've got a 3-truck breakaway at the front, or 4-truck breakaway at the front of this thing.
Truex starting to wiggle a little bit. That's the 14, of Bobby Grant that those guys just lapped.
Right. But Ryan Zunk right there within striking distance.
Yep, he is.
So if something were to happen between Aaron and Truex, we could see Zunk steal this thing. As we are popsicle sticks in the air, 2 laps to get it decided.
Oh, a little bit of a slide from Truex, a little bit of a bump from Aaron. That 93 is a lot more composed than the 56 is right now.
That's because all the 93's doing is driving out the windshield. Truex is keeping one eye out the windshield and one eye on the mirror.
Meant more rear end composed.
Well, that too, but...
Oh, here comes Ryan Zunk looking for position on Aaron.
Aaron got the hairpin all wrong.
Yeah, he did. He had a big slide out, trying to keep up with Truex, and this squabble has to get solved pretty quickly. If either one of these guys wants a chance to win this race, and it, for the moment, does. That 23 of Zunk looks a lot more stable than the 2 in front of him, and James Sharik now, by virtue of just being by himself, starting to really close these guys back in.
Absolutely. 4 of them stem to stern right now, and then you're almost a half a second back to...
it was a big slide from Truex.
I'm up here in the booth white-knuckling this. I can only imagine what it's like on a track.
Still sliding, and again, it's just you can see how much better that 93 is coming off the corner. He's going to have to move Truex in order to win this race, and he's got to move him in a spot where Truex can't get him back.
He has 3.4 miles to get it figured out. Final lap, we're racing back to checkers.
It's certainly going to be an interesting one. It's very rare on road races that you see the top 4 all right here on top of each other battling for a race win, and it could be any one of these 4.
Absolutely. As Truex, Aaron Zunk, and Sharik are just putting on a clinic right here in the closing laps.
James Sharik 2 seconds quicker than any of the three in front of him. Oh, by the way.
Yeah. Oh yeah. By the way.
Boy,
There you go.
Great quarter by the 93 of Aaron. Doesn't quite have the run on Truex, though, to get it done in this
Gotta
hairpin.
try something desperate.
It's going to have to... Oh, a little bit of contact there.
There it is.
Too insane.
Not close enough to make it happen, though.
If he's going to do it, he's going to have to bump him in the stadium section here.
He has to. That's the only way he's getting by him is if he moves him. And he's going to have to completely just kamikaze this corner.
No, not quite. Zunk will, though.
Yes,
contact.
Does.
There he goes.
There it is.
And it's going to move him. It's going to move Truex out of the way. Zunk trying to get the position as well. Truex has the spot on the inside. And Truex is going to slide a big one. This is going to open the door for James Sharik. He's going to take the podium, at least for the moment. Thomas Aaron has opened up a 3/4 of a second lead as we head through the final couple of corners. Ryan Zunk up to second. James Sharik has now gotten away from Truex into the third position. Zunk with a big move completely blows that second to last corner. To the final corner now. Thomas Aaron, he was gifted stages 1 and 2, but he is going to take the race win and the first complete sweep of the season. Thomas Aaron wins the ATX Grand Prix from COTA.
And he can thank Ryan Zunk for the help on that one. Ryan Zunk did what Aaron didn't want to do. Aaron was trying to everything he could to stay off of Ryan Truex, and Truex is pissed. He's already left the session.
I would 100% believe it.
But Aaron was trying to stay off of Truex,
and Zunk
got into the back of him.
Yep.
Putting him into the back of Truex, the door opens up, and Aaron had no choice but to walk through it.
Zunk forced the hand there going into that final hairpin. And we'll take a look at it from above. It's an unbelievable final lap. This was one of the final opportunities that Thomas Aaron had. Gets into the back of the 56. We'll go back a little bit further here just to get a full, clear picture of what happened. This is going down into the hairpin. Not quite to the braking zone yet. Here they go. Zunk with a big dive. You know what? Zunk had nothing to do with that. That was all the 93. And then here's the pass by Zunk on the outside. No contact between either one. The 56, I'm sure, upset. Lights the rears up coming out of that corner. Sharik now comes through, and Truex lights him up again, going into the triple apex, and that's how it ends.
Yep. And Frank, this is the most amazing road race we have ever had the opportunity to broadcast here on the Esports Broadcasting Network.
Certainly one of the best. And how about that moment for Thomas Aaron? Was gifted stages 1 and 2, but boy, did he take the race win.
Absolutely. You can tell just how happy he is to have gotten that as he does the donuts through the Whataburger branding on that penultimate corner. Coming down the front straightaway now to take the checkered flag and do that victory lap.
Might as well.
Absolutely. As
Parks at the back of the grid. And Tony, I believe you are with him now.
Thomas Aaron, driver of the Shiner Bock Chevy Silverado. Congratulations on getting the first sweep. Winning stage 1, winning stage 2, and winning the race here in the ThunderClap iRacing series.
Oh man, dude, that's probably the highlight of whatever you call it's not iRacing career, but like whatever you call it, my tenure on this service. Like racing with someone like
career.
Yeah, racing with someone like Ryan who does this in real life. I know you can race him clean, and I wanted to race him clean, but I mean, he was holding me up. So I had to do something at the end. It was for a race win. I live here in Texas, so it was a home track thing. I just can't believe I pulled that off. He was so much faster than me in practice. But you know, he short pitted on that stage, and I knew I would have better tires than him, and that really paid off. That was the difference right there. I just couldn't get a run on him getting out of the corners, and I just kept touching him through the stadium section, and I knew I just had to wait for the stadium section. And then Ryan Zunk behind me put a lot of pressure on me. Ryan was holding me that much, and I thought it was over when he got side by side with me. So I just kept my composure and just tried to set it up for the carousel. I was like, I'm gonna have to move him. I can't get around him any other way, and I hate to do that, but he won last week. I need a win.
Well, Thomas, we are going to start calling you the Iceman, because even when Zunk got to your door and was side by side with you, he actually had a nose out in front of you for a second there. You kept calm, cool, and collected, and burn him down, sir. You have earned it. But we were saying up here that you were going to need to channel your inner Dale Earnhardt Sr. if you were hoping to get the victory here tonight. As your teammate there, Justin Clapper, looks like he's just about as happy as you are.
Yeah, I just blew it up, so he's pushing me. I got no motor.
Well, again, Thomas, congratulations. You had probably one of the most amazing third segments we have seen out of anyone all season long. You were right there on the tailgate of the guy who, after practice, it looked, and especially after qualifying, it looked like it was going to be almost academic. Talk us through just how difficult it was with the track temperature, with the aero push that these trucks produce. How difficult was it to stay with Truex?
Oh, it was very difficult. I don't know if I could put into words how hard it is to get a truck around this place. It wants to spin out, but it also doesn't want to turn all at the same time. And honestly, I didn't think I had anything for him once the race started. I was just like hoping for.
All right. Again, Thomas, congratulations on the victory. Who do you need to thank before we let you go celebrate with the rest of your team?
I got to thank my parents. They're putting me through school right now. Without them, I wouldn't have anything.
Thanks, Mom.
Yeah, well, I got 1 year left on my engineering degree, and without them, I wouldn't even get close.
Well, there you go, sir. Best of luck to you in your engineering degree. Best of luck to you next week. Congratulations on winning at Texas.
Hell yeah, guys. Y'all have a good one.
All right, so that was your race winner, Thomas Aaron. As we will now go to our second place finisher here tonight, Ryan Zunk. And Ryan, you certainly put a heck of a lot of pressure on those top two to try to finish this race out. What was your best case scenario going into that final hairpin?
Well, I think best case scenario for me was to just see what Thomas had in mind for Truex. I knew he was on his bumper the whole time, and I knew the final lap was going to push him at some point. So I was hoping to capitalize on that, and I did. I just only gained one spot instead of two. But I mean, it was a really fun final few laps there, and it was extremely clean race for myself. And that's all I needed was a good points day and just to keep up and follow those two fast guys up front and definitely capitalized on them.
It was a very good and a very quiet race from you. We had mentioned that just before the final stage kicked off. You had been up in the top 5 the entirety of the night, just quiet and just keeping that car on the racetrack. How difficult was that to do here for this race?
So I knew a lot of it is just staying clean. I struggled last year at trying to force the issue on road courses and everything else. I could do 2 laps good, then I would overdrive it and lose 5 spots. And I almost lost out of the playoffs for it. So I knew I just had to stay clean. And every lap, I was just looking at the certain marks and making sure I was hitting the gears correctly and just basically focusing on the track, not looking in front of me or out back. I was just running my own race. I just happened to stay clean and keep up with everybody else.
I'm sure it's going to be a solid points day. It'll definitely get you back up into the top 10 in points after last week at Atlanta. But we go to back to the Xfinity cars next week at Dover. What are your thoughts getting back onto left turns only?
I think it should be fun. Dover is a really fun track, actually, especially in the Xfinity cars. So I'm curious at how many people actually show up and how clean it stays. Because if it stays clean, it should be really fun, I believe.
All right. Anybody you want to thank before we let you go and celebrate a second place finish tonight?
I want to thank my better half for letting me practice a few times every day and then actually being able to do this while she babysits for me. So obviously her. And shout out to my dad for actually staying up and obviously tuning in. Both parents, actually. So I'm getting texts now from them. So very fun day.
Yeah, absolutely. Your second place finisher tonight, Ryan Zunk. Congratulations, bud.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
All right, and for the first time this season, Tony will have James Sharik, pardon me, for the third place finisher.
James Sharik, you had a pretty quiet race for the most part of it, but in those closing laps, you were able to stay with the leaders. Congratulations on your first podium of the season, sir.
I appreciate it. It was, yeah, like you said, it was a very quiet race. I had to do a lot of sifting through the pack, but, it was nothing that was too far-fetched. Just had to keep my head down, just keep the truck clean, and thankfully I was able to get it done and capitalize on a little tough racing at the end.
Yeah, absolutely. The absolute biggest thing on road racing courses like this is to keep the truck clean. You did that with spectacular fashion, I might add. You had a solid truck in the final segment. How bad was the track as far as being able to lay the power down for you?
Oh man, dude, I don't think there was maybe about 100 feet of road on that entire track where you're allowed to get full throttle. So pre-race, I was telling my brother I felt like that was going to be the key to this event, was that just like if you could just manage your throttle, and in turn manage your tires, like that was what's gonna make or break the end of the race, and who's got like that little bit left to get the job done.
Yeah, absolutely. But you were able to get the job done, coming home on the podium. Talk us through those final handful of corners when you and Truex were just door to door.
Oh my god, dude! Like my heart was racing. For the last probably 10 laps, just sitting in 5th place, just watching those guys for a minute. They started pulling away, and I was like, "All right, cool. I'm content."
And then you got clear and got up there, and you were in 4th and caught them. And
oh yeah,
it was awesome move, sir. Awesome.
I appreciate it. That was some of the best fun I've had on this service. This was just great event by everybody. I've been talking with Ryan and Thomas, congratulating them on their phenomenal drives. It was almost agonizing in a way, just trying to push that little bit harder, but just making sure, like I said, that just not to overdrive, not to ruin my tires, and just, be in that position. And props to Ryan, as well, like you said, in those final corners, right, racing door to door. I'm sure, it was agonizing for him that, like to, be in the lead for like pretty much the entire event. And then just, but like, just like you said, putting ourselves in that position to capitalize when we needed it most. Like couldn't ask for a better ending.
Absolutely. And you talk about tire wear tonight at Texas. We're going to go to a track that's notorious for eating right fronts next week as the series moves to Dover. Your thoughts going into the Monster Mile?
Well, I know I got to get a lot of practice in. I put a whole lot of practice in for this event. I knew I really enjoy the all the road series that iRacing offers, so I'm going to have to definitely put in a lot of practice at Dover, and hopefully it can back this event up. But just gonna keep my head high, gonna ride a phenomenal feeling going into next week, and just hope for the best.
All right, James, who do you need to thank before I let you go celebrate your first podium of the season?
Definitely just gonna definitely thank my brother who he had a topsy-turvy race as well, but just him and I coaching each other, like all the info we were able to bounce back and forth on one another about just getting around this track as quick as possible, and it was just it's just definitely better getting to share this whole experience with with family.
Absolutely. But James, congratulations. We will see you next week at Dover.
Appreciate it. Thank you guys for all you do. Y'all have a great night.
You too, sir.
Well, that'll do it here for us pretty much tonight. As Tony, we knew coming in that this was going to be a difficult race for these guys, and we saw from the track conditions that it absolutely was. We knew we were going to get little pockets of racing, which is also exactly what we got. A lot of fun here tonight to watch all throughout the field.
Absolutely, but if you would have told me we would have seen the last 5 laps the way that we saw them, with 4 trucks stem to stern, and all having a shot at it, I never would have believed you if I hadn't seen it with my own 2 eyes.
Absolutely. It was an incredible night of action here tonight. As we will now go to the final results here for tonight's race. Thomas Aaron takes his first win of the season. Ryan Zunk, James Sharik, the top 3. Ryan Truex and Jake Waltman round out the top 5. Mark McCreary, Chase Leahy, Roger DeBold, Scott Barber, and Dustin Stallings round out the top 10. Steven Sharik, Greg McConey did a great job to bounce back from falling all the way down to 19th. Finds himself finishing in 12th. Robert Walton, after going a lap down early, finishes in 13th. J.D. Woodward and Anthony Burleson round out the top half of the field.
Thomas Allen Jr. coming home in 16th. 17th goes to Gadgedoris, sorry. Justin Clapper rebounding for 18th after having issues and seeing the bottom side of the track the hard way. Nicholas Jardin coming home in 19th. Rounding out your lead lap trucks is going to be Caleb Roche in 20th. Bobby Grant, the first truck, 1 or more laps down in 21st. David Hall, Dominic Cahart, Vince Burns, Matt Cherry rounding out your top 25. Would
be
Bo Condon, Michael Johnson, Scott Formosa, and Michael Grant rounding out your trucks that started in 29th. Matt Garrett unable to really make up a ton of laps after having a throughput early. Michael Grant, the one who was able to make up a couple of spots after not starting, coming home in 29th. Matt Garrett, the first one to put it on the hauler, coming home in 30th.
Yep, and so that will do it for us here tonight from the Circuit of the Americas. Coming up tomorrow, Tony and I will be back together again for the TNT Truck Series from Atlanta, a 7:50 p.m. Eastern Time start for us with the TNT Truck Series. Circle B Diecast Super Speedway Series throwback race on Friday night. That'll be the first of a triple header at 8:20 p.m. Eastern Time start. Wicked Sim Race you absolutely do not want to miss that race. Wicked Sim Racing will start 25 minutes later. They will be, I believe, from Charlotte, a makeup race from missing last week. And then the KMM New Gen Cup Series will be at Talladega at 9:20 p.m. Eastern Time. So for my broadcast partner, Tony Trapasso, I am Frank Marchese. Thank you very much for making us a part of your evening. We will see you in the Xfinity cars at Dover next week. Good night, everybody.